All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Gabe, Goose, Trey, and Stephen Adams. The Next Level Part 2. In this episode, we have special guests Trae Hall and Stephen Adams. We cover topics that range from sports talk, self-help, the development league, fatherhood, teaching, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Larry Brown. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, Jimmy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Trey has been he's like an extension of the crew at this point, right?
Yes.
I mean, how many episodes have you been on? Probably 10 or so, right?
At least 8, probably
It's
10.
up there, yeah.
It's up there. Yeah.
So you can find him, but specifically this is part 2 with Stephen Adams. You could catch him on episode 240, which I believe was earlier this year, around April-ish time. But for those of us who do not know who you are and what you do, let us know, Stephen Adams.
What's up, boy? Well, first, it's great to be here in-house, obviously, which
Yes.
was last time we did the Zoom interview. So
Yes.
big
Real
difference. Big difference.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
For sure.
But I am Stephen Adams, come from Hamilton, New Jersey. I'm a punter, free agent punter right now. Played at Delaware Valley University, 2015 to 2019, two-time All-American. And I say it proudly, come from small school, small town, Hamilton, New Jersey, and yeah, that's really it. That's who I am.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love it. Yes. Hear that talk?
I like it. And Trey, for those of us who do not know who you are and what you do, let us know.
Of course. Trae Hall, from small town as well, about 20 minutes north. Stephen here, South Brunswick. Me and him met at Del Val. Currently, I work in farming, but I also own my own nonprofit organization, which we give back to the community 3 ways: through financial education or financial literacy, peer discussion groups to allow kids, that platform to really get their voice out there. Of course, we as adults often don't feel like we have that platform as well. And last but not least, our can drives and food drives. We just did a drive actually last week at Mitchell Elementary School in Southwest Philadelphia. Give about 400 kids, book bags, folders, notebooks, pens, pencils.
I saw that video,
Yeah.
or one of the videos. How did that even come about?
It's crazy. Del Val, Tim Scott.
Wow.
Big Tim Scott.
Wasn't making a difference, man.
Del Val's making a difference.
No, because typically,
You know
I say this every time we have Trey on. He's legit, and he has these drives, these food, but it's typically a food drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was, I saw school supplies, so it was totally
Yes,
different.
big
Obviously,
difference.
it's we're back in sessions now, September.
Absolutely.
Thank
So
goodness,
beautiful things, man. We appreciate it.
Wow.
All right, so Stephen, let's jump right in it. Sports talk. Last time you were on the show, a lot has changed.
Yes, sir.
You were training for the next level, and talk a little bit about how far you've come, several changes, the development league. Just let us know. Fill us in.
Sure, man. It was crazy. I think the last time we spoke, I was kind of on the fence of where things were going to go,
Yeah,
and
man.
really unclear. And a couple weeks later, I got a call from Coach Ted Cottrell, and it was just a dream come true, man. Just an opportunity to play ball again, outside of college. One of the few to say I have. So right then and there, it was a dream coming true. But when I got down to Houston, again, it was all business. It was back to playing ball again. And again, I wanted to prove Coach Cottrell right
Yeah.
and bringing me on.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that, he even brought me on was we have that Del Val connection.
Yeah.
Ted Cottrell, he played back in the day at Del Val. I mean, he's a legend. But, he had said, we got to rep Del Val. We got to do it the right way. And I took that to heart. So, I appreciated the opportunity. Really got an opportunity to, we had one of the, I think, worst offenses in the league. So, I had a chance to showcase, what I did and who I am. And I thought I did that in a very high fashion. And, here we are today.
I love it. So explain a little. Where did you have to go? Where how does that even work? Once you get the phone call, what happens?
Yeah, so there was a couple weeks in between when I got the phone call and when I ended up going down. But we pretty much arranged all the travel plans, and then we had flown down to Houston. I played in one of the 4 teams that was in the Houston division with the Blues, and there was another 4 teams in Indianapolis, which ended up competing at the end for the championship. So I was in Houston for about 8 weeks.
Wow.
And it was an awesome experience. You know, we got put up in the Hilton, and you know, they took care of us, and you know, that was our pay for being there essentially. So,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, it was a great opportunity to be in a professional environment, work with professional coaches, and you know, play on national television, and again, showcase my abilities. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
That's so cool, man. So what happens from here? Is there any steps afterwards, or is kind of you know, you showcased your skills and maybe something in the future can happen? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, now the film's out there. Like, I think what was really important for a guy like me, you know, coming from a small school at Del Val, you know, we don't get that national recognition, that you know, attention that D1 programs, you know, bring to the table. So for me, I kind of needed to be on a national stage. You know, can I play on national TV? I think that was important to show right away. But then it's also, you know, playing with just the pressure of being in a professional environment. What's that look like?
Yeah.
I got a chance to show, you know, how I developed from, you know, once I left year 1 to year 2 to now, you know, being 2.5 years out, show them that development and that progress.
Yeah.
So now we're just really at a point where it's up to the teams, you know, to see that film. You know, if they like it, then they'll work you out, bring you in, and you know, if that goes well, it's an opportunity from there. But you know, if maybe you didn't do enough, you know, maybe the opportunities won't come. So right now it's really just at that point where it's up to the teams to make the calls.
So explain a little bit about what's in your opinion or your experience. Is there a difference, and what is that difference when it comes to not necessarily coaching, but the locker room, the environment? Is there any difference, or did it bring you back into that? Holy smokes, I love this feeling.
Yeah, I mean, like, football is football, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, being in the football environment is going to get you pumped up,
Yeah.
and you know, it took me back for real. You know, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but for me, being there for only, you know, 6 to 8 weeks playing with those guys, it made it very hard for you to connect with everybody.
100%.
Like, you have the opportunity to connect with guys in college. So, you
That's
know, when I look at my
understandable,
experience from the spring league and compare it with Del Val, it's like night and day, because, you know, Del Val, you know, I got my brothers there, you know, I built lifelong bonds. I mean, we were grinding for 4 straight years together. You know, some of us 4.5, 5.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Why'd you look at Trey?
Because he knows what I'm saying.
That niche. Stretch it out as much as you can.
No, but then with the spring league, and you know, it was cool, man. Like, you know, being in that professional environment, you know, we're all, you know, got guys who've been in the league, been around. You got guys like myself who hadn't, and then everywhere in between. So it was good to, you know, just get to know those guys and to be with them and learn from them. But I just didn't think it was a long enough time period for us to really, like, build that cohesion that a lot of teams build.
Yeah, I love it. And so when you come back, what was that like? Are you just saying in your mind, like, I did my thing, you feel good about what you did, and it's like life continues, and once I get that call?
Yeah, I mean, I felt there leaving I was the best punter in the spring league.
Wow.
And I don't believe that I'm the only one who feels that way.
Yeah.
You know, I've had my head coach double down on that, and he felt the same way. And,
I love it.
You know, coaches from around the league felt the same. So coming out of that time playing there really felt like something was going to shake my way.
Yeah.
Like some opportunity was going to come out the gate, whether it was just a workout, whether it was a camp invite, something. Like, my whole thought process was, you know, if I can show them now here in June, May and June, that, you know, I can play, I can do the same thing in August. When you see me in camp, I do the same thing in September. So,
absolutely.
You know, just kind of carry that momentum into those opportunities. And it's just been a little quiet.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't really been sure why that's the case.
Yeah.
Again, you know, I averaged 47 yards a punt.
Wow.
The net was 39.5. So, again, when you're working in those scenarios, like, it's pretty solid. It's only 8 yards of return.
Yeah.
And again, like, I put the film out there. I feel very confident in what I did, but it's just been too quiet. So I made a move myself, just a personal business decision. I ended up moving on from my agent, and have now hired with a new agent with a new agency. So, you know, I'm just trying to take any steps I can to get my foot in the door and get these opportunities, man, because I feel like they're due.
I love that, man. So explain how the agent and how that process works, and in your opinion, what they should be doing.
I feel like an agent, like, their job is to facilitate opportunities for you. Like, point being, they know more people than you do.
Of course.
And they've been around in this environment. You know, they've worked through, they've got contracts done. They've done all of these, you know, very professional things to the point where they have these relationships that they can count on, and they can get your foot in the door. Like, that's what I think an agent is for. Unless, you're like a first-round pick where you have an agent to ultimately help you with your finances and, facilitate business decisions and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm not there, obviously.
Sure.
I'm a D3 punter.
Yeah.
And for me, like, in my opinion, my agent has to represent me the way, like, if I had the same connections, I would represent myself. They're an extension of you. They're a part of your team. And they got to be willing to go to bat for you and just, do whatever they can to get you these opportunities, because the benefits are there for both of you.
Absolutely.
What I mean? Like, not only financially, but, he gets another player or he or she gets another player in the business, and, that's more promo for them, and it's recognition. Yeah. So it's kind of a hand-in-hand thing, and you guys work together, collaborate, and I guess I just wasn't there with this agent I had before. Yeah. Great guy. I appreciate all the work he did for me. Yeah. But I just felt it was a good time for me to go in a different direction and see what I could do for myself, because, as you guys know, I'm at this crosshairs in my life where I got a lot of things going on and, big things coming. And, I kind of want clarity. Like, if it's not there and a team feels like it's not there, I can accept that as a man.
100%.
Just like I told you guys, like, I left the spring league very proud and very happy with what I did.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity post-college, which is all I wanted, just one opportunity. So if that was the case, I'd do it. But, if at the same time, it's like, okay, well, we did all that. So, like, if something can come from it, I want it to come from, because it's going to put my family in the best position.
Absolutely. Man, I felt like, so obviously having you on a previous episode, just listening to the backstory, I genuinely, and I get the chills, I feel like last time we were on it, I said the same thing. I genuinely feel like you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. There's no missteps. You literally, everything they've asked you to do, you've done, and then superseded expectations and everything. Sure. So for the folks who didn't listen to 240, can you explain all the work you did between 2019 and leading up to that phone call in the spring?
Yeah, I've really, went out on a limb and went down to Texas coming out of college at Del Valle, and I had an invite at this college gridiron showcase. I was one of the only I was the only Division III punter there.
Amazing.
And, had a chance to compete in front of these guys, in front of scouts. And, I didn't get any love from the scouts. Yeah. It was okay, though, because I met, one of my biggest, proponents in all of this, Mike McCabe, who saw something in me. He saw the talent. He saw what I needed somebody to see in me this whole time, type of deal. So linked with him, and I've constantly, over the last 2 years, been traveling from Jersey to Alabama to Florida to Atlanta to Houston, Texas, all over the place to train with this guy and to ultimately try and put myself in the best position to get recognition. First year coming out, I didn't feel like I was ready mentally. I needed to mature a little bit. I needed to grow up. And then, on the other side of that as well, I needed to actually learn the position. Yeah. And understand the technique and apply what I was learning. And sure enough, things have come together really well for me. I think I've shown that in front of the scouts. I think I've shown that to him, and he's found, it worth his time to continue to work with me and invest his time into me. So, it's just been a grind nonstop. And, when I got that call in April, that I had this opportunity to play ball again, it was just like, finally. Weight off the shoulders, finally. Like, I get a chance to.
Bro, so that was literally 2 weeks after our show. Because our show, I just said that, our show was in April.
Yep.
And I was telling the guys, I'm like, yo, he spoke that into existence. That was the craziest. I manifest things all the time, and I work it the way I do. But to physically watch someone else do it, before my eyes, and I saw it before the phone call. But I told you that before. I was like, dude, you could just he got it. There's something. He has it. Whatever it is. So they need you at this point. Is the way I kept seeing it. I'm like, dude, the league needs you, right? I
appreciate that.
And it was just something special. And then, like I keep going back to, he's like, you did everything you were asked and more. You did way more.
That's what it feels like.
And so I appreciate even then the move. Like, a lot of people just stay stuck. Like, well, I guess it is what it is. The agent, I guess he didn't really work what the expectations or what I thought, was the best result, and you moved on to another one. It's like, yo, my man's really doing everything possible to put himself in a good position. Like,
I'm gonna exhaust all options, man.
I love that.
It's my dream, you know what I mean? And you gotta stay persistent with the things you want in life, you know what I mean? And in this time, when I'm, everybody knows I'm gonna have a child. I'm gonna be a father soon here. Yeah. I want to show my kid, like, you do everything you can to live out your dreams and make things come to reality, man, because it's possible. You know, you just got to work for it.
That's it, bro. Remember we had those bracelets in camp? It used to say all in. And we took it from I think I mentioned something about when you go to a casino, you see people and they really go all in. Like they're either all in or all out with their last couple dollars.
Like full tilt.
Full tilt, yeah. Like what are you gonna do when are you really gonna invest everything you have into it and come out reward, or are you gonna just wait it out and see what, you know what I mean? Yeah. So sometimes you got to take advantage. You really got to be all in with whatever you really want to do.
So my basic observation from the last time we talked, you seem way more confident than, and not that you weren't confident before. Just there's just like a stone cold look in your eyes. You're just like, I did everything. Now you're just like, come on, universe, like put this together because I did everything you asked me to do.
Really, and I don't want that to come off the wrong way because I really
no, it's in a healthy way.
Yeah, though. I'm just saying, like, I really am still putting in the work, and I'm doing, you know, a lot of work on the mental side of things right now, which I just think is important, man. Like I've shifted my focus. I'm locked in on everything I want, and it's also it's kind of to the point where it's like I need it. You know what I mean? Like like I feel close enough to the point where like I can like almost touch it. And it's like once it's there, once it's obtained, once I can grab it, I'm going to, and I'm gonna run with it. And I'm just really excited for that. I'm just, you know, being patient, putting my time in, paying my dues, and I know it'll come around because I truly believe good things come to those who work hard.
Mm-hmm. What was the biggest lesson learned, I guess, this year from the time we spoke in April to now? It's September, and it could be anything. What was your biggest lessons learned that allowed you to grow mentally?
I would say it's just to be patient. You know, like, and that's easy to say, very hard to do, but you know, it's just like really be patient with yourself first. You know, take your time. Don't rush. Like, you know, everybody says trust the process. I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying, like, just don't rush you. Like, I feel like a lot of times, like, you know, we want to be somewhere and we're just not there. And it's like, okay, well, how can I fast track this to get there? And we try to force it. And when you try to force it, it's like you're not doing it naturally. So if it doesn't come natural to you, then it's probably not for you. You know what I mean? So I just had to take a step back and slow down a little bit and just understand, like, this is a blessing that I still have the opportunity to play ball. Like, I'm 25 years old. You know, I'm coming off my first professional opportunity and, you know, hopefully more things on the way. But it's the point that, like, I'm still having these opportunities to live out my dream, and I'm still here and I'm still fighting and I'm kicking and I'm going at it, and that's how I'm going to go out. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to go out, that's the best way to go out, is fighting. So that's what I'm going to do. Just keep fighting.
I love it. All right, so you talked a little bit about working on your mental. So speak a little bit about self-help, and is there anything you're doing to make those adjustments and become stronger upstairs? Like, are you reading books? Are you talking to someone? Explain a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's definitely like continue to communicate with your team, like at all times, man. Like keep the people who are close to you. Like, you know, don't be afraid to express your feelings and share who you are. Like you got nothing to hold back with those people. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you put on a front and it's like you want to be tough and you want to be strong, but it's like you can be vulnerable and expose these feelings and emotions, and you're still gonna be okay. You know what I mean? For me, I would say it's just, you know, keeping up with my people, continuing to pray, and just, you know, honestly, just any thoughts. Like, if I have to write them out, write them out. If I have to say it. Like, you know, there's sometimes I mess around and I'm just in the car and I'll like rap or something. Like, I'm not a good rapper, but like I'll do it just to express that shit and get some stuff out of me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but I've just found that very healthy. Just like write stuff out and then see it. It's like, does this thought make sense? And if it makes sense, then great. Like, okay, now you're thinking a good way. But if it doesn't and it's like questionable, it's like at least you see it and you visually are seeing, like, that's what's in my mind. And you got it out. So now it's moving forward from that.
So talk a little bit about those around you, right? Like, what kind of feedback are they, like, talk about what it is to have a good team around you. Because I've been fortunate enough to have a dope team around me my whole life. My family's very tight-knit. It's just, you know, part of our culture, but I didn't take that for granted ever, and so we've capitalized on that in a healthy way, where we've all had the ability to grow and learn off of each other, and get feedback. Sometimes not the feedback you want to hear, but it's the feedback you need to hear. So talk about that.
That's the most important part is right there.
Yeah.
It's like transparency.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the most genuine, like fluent relationships are the ones where you're just being authentic and real and not holding back.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able to hear some, like you're saying, that tough stuff, that stuff that like you don't want to accept yourself.
Yeah.
But it's the point that those people are willing to tell you that because it's for the better for you in the long run. Overlooking your feelings and really just, you know, looking out for your best interest.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, to me the biggest thing, like with your team, like your team's got to be solid and not afraid to tell you when you're wrong or even tell you when you're right. Not just going to give you praise all the time, but also not just going to give you hate. Like they have that very healthy balance and being in between and keeping you level because, you know, it's, you know, obviously it's cool, you know, when you got friends who joke with each other all the time, but if all they're doing is joking all the time, then that probably means that's all you're doing. So what are you doing seriously together? You know, that environment, is that healthy for you? Is that going to be the most beneficial environment for you? Is it going to keep you on track? Are your priorities straight? All those things come into factor. So it's really just evaluating that on a deeper level and understanding, like, you know, if this relationship isn't the best for me, not being afraid to walk away from it and just understanding, like, 5, 10, 12 years from now, I'm going to be better off because of that.
So one of the biggest things I've said, and I haven't said in a while, so I think it's valuable to, you know, maybe kids or someone else listen out there who needs to hear it. Having the support from those around you because they strictly just love you versus them truly believing in you and in your dreams. You have to do your part in that, right? They have to see you actually working. They have to see you actually going after things. Because there's like a misconception. It's like, oh, you don't support me in anything I do. It's like, yeah, because it's kind of like what you say. Every time I see you, you're joking around. I can't. How am I supposed to take you serious if you can't even take yourself serious? Right. Or you're not taking what you're saying serious enough. Where's the sacrifice at? Where's the hard work? Like, once you put that stuff in, dude, I'll go with you. Whatever you got to do, I'll back you up. I'll support you and everything. But it's hard. Maybe if you're not getting the support, maybe chin check yourself or look yourself in the mirror. Are you doing everything you possibly can to get that support and earn that support too? Because a lot of times it doesn't necessarily have to come from, quote, family members. It could be that really good friend who's always putting you on or always has that healthy conversation with you. Like I have a buddy that we barely ever see each other. Well, first of all, he lives in California and I live in Pennsylvania. But when we get on the phone, yo, it's like, not that it's cutthroat, but we're going straight at each other. Like, dude, what are you doing? You got to blah, blah, blah. And he's coming right back at me. Dude, I feel so good leaving those conversations. I know he's working his tail off and he knows I'm working my tail off. Can you talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it could even go, you know, down to a relationship like mine and Trey's. Like, you know, he texts me, he's like, hey, go get it, you know, or even our friend Bugs. I know you guys have had Bugs on the show. He'll text me, hey, bro, hey, go be great today. You know what I mean? Those little things, they spark something in you. I don't know, when you're motivated, they should. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, whether it's your best friend or whether, you know, it was a college teammate or a roommate or whatever the case may be, like if they're pushing you to be better, there's somebody you should want around. Yeah. And vice versa, if they're pushing themselves to be better, like you should want them around. Yes. Because like I've said it 1,000 times, like you're a product of your environment. Yeah. And you're going to fall into, you know, whatever is going on around you. If it's positive, then you're probably going to be on a positive note. And if it's negative, you're going to fall off. So it's about just finding people who want to be as successful as you do and then want you to be as successful as you do.
I love it. So where do you want to see yourself? How do you want 2021 to end and 2022 to start? If you could just pen it out right here.
I mean, the tangible stuff, I mean, I guess like would just be, you know, to be with a roster in some fashion, whether it's practice squad, on the active roster, and competing again, you know, putting on the helmet and playing ball again. That's the goal. You know, that's why I'm working the way I am, and that's why, you know, I'm continuing to stay on this track and staying in the business and the game. You know, but ultimately, like, the biggest thing I want for myself is just to keep finding ways to learn every day. Like, if I do that, I know I'm just going to continue to get better as a man. And that's really just what I want for myself. I think that's what's going to put me in the best position, you know, no matter where I end up. It's what's going to be, you know, the best for my girl. It's what's going to be the best for my son. And it's what's going to be best for the people around me, my family and my friends. So, you know, I'm just really eager to continue to grow. And just to continue to find, you know, learn more about myself so I can continue to be the best version of myself.
I love it. Mm-hmm. So Trey, on outside looking in, but at a closer range than anyone else possibly listening, you know, what do you see Stephen Adams for? I mean, you reached out to me. He's like, yo, we got to get him back on. And I know you saw even like the mind shift on him growing as a man. So speak on that and you know, your relationship.
Yeah, the relationship is very unique because, again, when we first met, the first thing you say, coming from Jersey, being PA, all right, what part of Jersey you're from?
Right.
You know, you break that ice, you get comfortable with that, and then you see, especially at Del Val, see, we don't have, it's not like a D1 school where you bring in a certain amount of people. We bring in whoever. We bring in the best of the best. You come from Temple, wherever you come from.
Yeah.
You're top. Like, he's won 2 championships as a quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
Like, they bring in the best of the best. Like, no joke. So, just seeing the patience that it took him to transition from a quarterback to be a punter at the college level was amazing. And then on top of that, the grind that he put in, and me being older than him, seeing him getting us together and how to, like, yo, let's be more disciplined, not talk about what we're going to do after practice, but let's zone in right now. While we're in the weight room, let's be in the weight room.
Yeah.
You seeing his discipline. You see how bad he wants it.
Yeah.
And you just seen the growth and growth and growth. Me being on the bunt team as well, watching him boot it over my head. I'm like, yo, what? Like, he's really doing this thing. Like, we really got to run. I'm like, yo, Steven, please, like, kick it out of bounds, bro. If you can. I'm tired. We get ready for defense next. Like, if you just see how bad he really wants it, his passion. And that's the same thing that Oil Money to the Moon's about. Hard work, dedication, focus, and that sacrifice. He could do everything he wants in the world right now to just relax and call it a day. Like, he could be at home, man, just complaining about his 9 to 5. But everybody here is taking a little sacrifice and doing that little extra in their life. And he's doing, like you say, he got 2 boots on and 2 pair of socks. So he's doing double duties, being a dad, playing football, having a social life. Like you said, that's somebody you want to be around. If he can have balance, I don't need to talk to him every day. And as long as I know his mental health is good, that's all that matters. So seeing that, it motivates me every day to keep going, even when I'm tired too. Like, yesterday was just a holiday. We could have just been like, yo, we'll push it back another week. You know, like, let's get it done this week. Yeah. So that's what it takes.
I love it. All right, Steve.
Appreciate that, by the way, bro.
I appreciate sitting next to you, man.
That's a beautiful thing. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about the work-life experience, balance, whatever you want to call it. I know people look at it differently. How are you managing all these moving parts for you? What works for you?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm gonna give a lot of kudos to my girl. She's putting up with a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm still just getting my feet wet in the game, honestly. You know, my son, he hasn't even been born yet, but you know, we've been doing a lot of prep for it and just taking, you know, the precautions we can with you know, our health and everything, as well as, you know, getting everything set up in terms of, like, you know, the bassinet and the, you know, getting the clothes washed and put away, you know, all that little stuff. So it's been fun though, you know, like going through that experience with her and sharing that with her. So I'm just getting prepped for everything. So it's been doing that, and then, you know, I'm starting up this new teaching job that, you know, I'm really excited about. It's with Brookfield Academy, and I'm working as a homebound teacher where, you know, I'm going to hospitals and working with inpatient and outpatient students who suffer from either special education needs or behavioral needs. So I'm really excited about it. It's a good opportunity for me. And, you know, obviously, you know, it allows me to do the things I want to do still, take care of my family, be with my family, and, you know, have the flexibility to still train and play football. So, you know, it's a lot. You know, there's a lot of moving parts there. And, you know, I say that a lot, but, you know, I've always been the one to take a lot on my shoulders and to take it strong. Like, if it's going to come, it's going to come, and I'm going to deal with it and just deal with it head on. And I feel like that's what I've done. Had to take these steps, you know, just as a man, to do what you have to do. And I feel like I've put myself in a good position, you know, with all the things that I've had to do so far. So right now it kind of feels like, you know, just keep doing the things I'm doing with the school, keep training, and you know, just ultimately, like I said, keep trying to be the best I can be as a person, and it's going to come together the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you graduated from Del Val. So you what's your degree in, and then how'd you shift? Like, you always knew you wanted to be a teacher? Or
I'm a secondary ed major. So I always knew I wanted to teach, definitely wanted to coach. I mean, I've really coached for most of my life. Since I was 10 years old, I've been coaching. Wow. You know, at that time it was basketball, and now I've transitioned into football coaching, but still, you know, I've coached for a long time. So I've always liked working with kids, whether, you know, they were younger than me, whether it was my peers. And I feel like that's always come with the territory as well. Like, you know, if I was an upperclassman, say, and, you know, I'm working with an underclassman, you know, I'm coaching them, like I'm working with them. So it's always just kind of come naturally to me. My dad's a coach. Spent a lot of time with my dad growing up. You know, he coached me, put me around a ton of great coaches as well. So I just kind of feel like I have a really good, you know, just a ton of knowledge right now that I can share with kids, and ultimately, you know, perspective as well, you know, through my experiences, and you know, ultimately just give them, you know, different perspective now to help level them out as high schoolers, and again, just put them in the best position to be successful. You know, like that's just what's most important to me, you know, being in this role, is giving them feedback that's going to be positive enough for them to, you know, continue to do the things they want to do and they're passionate about.
I love it. I love it.
That's crazy. Matter of fact, you know what's crazy? I'm thinking about it now. Well, two things. One, I went to Del Valle for business, and I have no idea why I went. I just needed a degree, so I just picked business. But him and John Jones, special ed teachers.
That was the first thing I thought of, actually.
Yeah, special ed teachers. We were just all together, you and John Jones, at Del Valle's game 2 weeks ago. Just thought about it. So they're doing amazing things, man. Legendary.
It's just the opportunity to inspire. I don't know, man. Like, kids need inspirations outside of, like, you know, making athletes. They're here, like, you know, just professional athletes. Like, they need to see role models, men. And you know, you got a couple examples in here, and you know, there's plenty of, you know, examples of people like that out there. But if I'm not going to be in that professional athlete role, I still want to be in that position to inspire and change kids, you know, and help kids, and, you know, do what I can for them. So
I love it. So explain a little bit about landing the job, right? What was maybe a little bit about that process, and maybe someone listening wanting to land a similar job. You know, what was the process like for you? I know we're in a totally different era with these kinds of things, so explain a little bit about that.
Sure. The process was really difficult, actually. I started applying as soon as I got back from the spring league for different jobs. I wanted to start working right away, and it was kind of like I couldn't land the right gig. I really just kind of put myself out there. I knew I had a bachelor's and that there's value in that.
Of course.
I also trust my skills and you know, the resume that I've put together over the years. So I really just kind of took a shot in the dark and just started applying to a ton of places. I can pull up my Indeed right now. I can show you I had over 99 applications submitted. It's like something. It's got to be near 150 applications submitted because it's not showing the actual number. It says 99 plus, but it's got to be.
Right.
It's got to really be near 150 applications that I submitted.
Wow. You
gotta be persistent.
You gotta be persistent every day.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I just stayed at it, and I interviewed. Like, I maybe didn't land jobs, but I interviewed. And I felt like during that time, like, I got a chance to refine those skills through the whole process. So like, when I first got back, I was super choppy in my interviews. Like, you know, I'm stuttering, you know, I'm not really saying the right things, you know, kind of repeating myself a little bit. So it was just like, you know, no wonder I didn't get those jobs, but I started to catch on to that. And then, you know, I started to get different jobs, still continuing to reach out, and I did the interviews, and, you know, more second interviews came. Didn't get those jobs, but then it was like, all right, like, now I saw what that looked like, and it was just kind of like layers to it. And then I just started to get offers, job offers after offers, and it kind of became like for me, like an opportunity to pick what I wanted to do, which was awesome. So actually, I had accepted a job to work in Chester, PA, for Power Home Remodeling. I was going to be in talent acquisition, and you know, it was going to be a little bit of a commute, about an hour a day. But I was just like, you know what, it's good money, good benefits, all this. Like, it puts, you know, my family in a good position. I'll do it. It sounds fun. And then, like, I started to mull it over a little bit, and I was like, that commute is going to be a lot. You know, it's gonna put a lot of stress on a lot of people around me. You know, so I started to reevaluate a little bit, and kept interviewing during that time, though. Like, even though I accepted the position, I still wanted to work these skills and interview. And honestly, with the teaching job, I took the interview thinking, like, oh, I'm probably only going to be able to interview here because you know, they're not going to want me based on, you know, my situation and everything, you know, I got going on. And they ended up offering me the job right on the spot.
Wow.
And I was just like serious. Like, I thought it was a joke at first, and they were like, no, like, we're very impressed with you, and we would love you to work for us. And I was just like, that's I mean, that's awesome.
Wow.
Like, when do I start, essentially, you know? So, you know, ended up switching gears and getting into this teaching role, and spent the last couple of days there, you know, with our in-service days, and kind of just learning, you know, what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be working, and it's exciting. It's good stuff.
That's awesome. All right, so what's your recommendation to anyone trying to chase their dream on becoming whatever it is they want to be, whether it's a professional athlete, a teacher, in your actual experience? Because a lot of times we do get some very cliche things, but there's a reason why they're cliches, because a lot of these things are actually true. It's just, is it genuine coming out of, the person who's saying it? So in your opinion, experience, recommendation, whatever you want to call it, someone's out there literally wanting to become everything you're doing, what would you say to them?
There's a lot. Yeah. Oh man, the biggest thing I'd say, it ain't over till it's over, man. Yeah. Like it's gonna be over when you want it to be over. Yeah. So see that through the scope. Like really understand what that means to yourself. Like what does whatever you're doing mean to you? Yeah. Like if it means a lot to you, you need to be putting everything into achieving that and accomplishing that and doing whatever you need to do to obtain it. And if you're not doing all of those things, it becomes a reevaluation. Okay, well, what am I doing wrong? What should I be doing right? Then it becomes a breakdown of the little things, people around you, yourself. Are you treating yourself the way you need to be treated? Are you putting yourself in the best position? Are the people around you doing the same? Are they treating you right? Are they looking out for your best interests? Like, it becomes an entire thing, but it ain't over till it's over, man. Like, if you want it to be over and you want to put your time and energy into something else, go do that. Yeah. But if you truly believe this is what you're supposed to do, you truly believe that this is your destiny, then go get it, man. Yeah. And go through the ups and downs of that process. Embrace every little part of that journey and understand that when you want it to be over, it will. But if you keep going and keep fighting, anything's possible, man.
I love it. So before we close things out, we'll do Trey, we'll start with you. Any parting words, and then how folks can follow you and your mission?
Of course, yes. We had a conversation before today. We just want to say we all want to take a moment to check mental health. Mac Miller actually passed away 3 years ago as of today. So definitely take a moment to check your mental health. If you feel like something's bothering you even a little bit or a lot, just tune in with somebody. I think sometimes I'm over dramatic and I say like, I don't really have bad days, but like we all do. Yeah. Like, I mean, it can't just be, because I'm alive, it's a good day. Like realistically, you're going to have a good day, but that's why they make tomorrows. And there's a lot of artificial stress. So if you can't control it, you can't stress it. That's the best thing I could tell you. You can't control it, you can't stress it.
I love it.
So you can follow me on Instagram. That's OMTTM_lifestyle. And as well as Twitter, OMTTM2. And we have an announcement coming out later this month. A big project coming out, and we've been working pretty hard, but that's all I can say. Mr. Adams?
Nice.
Closing words?
I mean, absolutely. Rest in peace, Mac. He was one of my favorite artists growing up. But no, I just appreciate you guys having me back on. Always some great conversation. I'm thankful that, giving me this platform to share my story and to pass this message along to whether it's a kid, whether it's, maybe somebody in the same position as me, maybe it's somebody 10 years older than me, I don't know, but I'm thankful for the opportunity to be on this platform and share the story and talk. And, anybody out there, like Trey said, man, no matter what you're going through, and even if you're on your highs, keep up with your people, don't stop, working on yourself and keep, trying to be the best version of you.
I love it. And what's your, if you want people following you.
Yeah. If you want to follow me, Instagram and Twitter, it's SAdams, SADAMS 8_.
I love it. All right, so thank you, gentlemen. We like to close things out with quotes, and the first one is by Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Age is no barrier. It's a limitation you put on your mind. And the second one is by Larry Brown. You have to do something in your life that is honorable and not cowardly if you are to live in peace with yourself. The Next Level, Part 2. In this episode, we have special guests Trae Hall and Stephen Adams. We cover topics that range from sports talk, self-help, the Development League, fatherhood, teaching, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Larry Brown. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.